I think there's been a tremendous shift in the whole inclusion and diversity agenda over the last 5, never mind 10, 15 years. And there's a real sense now of bringing it into the mainstream, not just having it as something that HR has to do, not just seeing it as an element of compliance, not just seeing it in terms of protected characteristics, but in terms of seeing it as talent enablement and empowerment. And as soon as you see it through the lens of talent, the lens of humanity, it becomes a far richer, far more positive conversation and drives far greater productivity in an organisation, far happier, far more connected, far more diverse, creative organisations. I was delighted to undertake a review for the Cabinet Office last year in terms of increasing opportunities, increasing diversity in public appointments, not least for disabled people. I hope the recommendations in the review I put out on December the 3rd last year not only speak to the specifics of public appointments, not just speak to the specifics of disabled people, but say something in general as to how one should go about attracting, onboarding and enabling talent. For the Cabinet Office, I suggested a target of 11.3% of public appointments should be held by disabled people. Currently, it's 3%. Those figures may well mirror a lot of organisations across the country. A diverse approach to application is in no sense giving, say for example, a neurodiverse person an edge. It may be the thing that makes a difference between them being able to apply for that position or not. Changing how we do interviews, changing what we look at on CVs, changing the whole concept of a CV, maybe tearing up the whole concept of a CV. Why not considering all and everything that we need to do? Because there can be no greater time for the inclusion of the richest diversity of talent, because it's what we need if we're going to make a success of the fourth industrial revolution. For anyone as an individual or an organisation starting on an inclusion and diversity journey, firstly, don't have any sense of fear, don't have any sense that you're way, way behind other organisations. It doesn't matter at what point you start, it only matters that you do start and you have an approach and you understand what's the purpose. Why am I, as an individual, why am I as an organisation wanting to really drive this inclusion and diversity space? And that purpose should always be around, because this can enable us to be a better, more creative, more interesting, and yes, in the spaces where this matters, a more profitable organisation, because we're having that diversity of voices. When I lost my sight, it was assistive technology which enabled me to carry on in school. It was cassette tapes, books on cassette tapes. Now that might not sound particularly technological, but that was the technology of the time which enabled me to carry on in school and to get my A-levels and to get to university. And I learned that really key message early on, that technology doesn't need to be magical, certainly should never be mystical, but it absolutely needs to be sufficient. So now, looking at all the opportunities of how technology can enable, can empower in the workplace and indeed across society, with so many potential features of access being built in right from the outset of many, many bits of equipment. There's a huge opportunity, and probably disabled people have the most to benefit from technology, because all too often we've been on the thinnest end of other wedges. It's not an inevitability, but it's certainly a phenomenal opportunity that technology could truly enable so much talent of disabled people which has been ignored, overlooked and sub-optimised in the workplace to date. A good way into this potential technology of the fourth industrial revolution is to pick a specific piece of your world or your operation, be it HR. So you could pick something, just for example, like sickness records, say, or onboarding, or whatever, it doesn't matter. But pick one thing that's specific that you can then experiment with a piece of new technology, which is massively de-risked because it's one specific element, but has the potential to draw people to it, to look, to understand, to see how it's working, to see how it's driving efficiencies, to see how it's delivering better quality, quicker, real-time data to individuals. I think the key to getting the right technology to enable, to unleash your talent in whatever the environment is to have that discussion with the individual, understand what their needs are, understand what they require to succeed and to be judged against all of their peers in that organisation. What I hope I do with my presentation is to really show that interplay between humanity and technology, inclusion and innovation. So much of the narrative is a narrative of fear. The bots are coming, our jobs are going, we're all going to hell, no one even knows there's a handcart. I don't see any reason not to be rationally optimistic about the possibilities, not inevitabilities, because it could go horribly wrong in a whole suite of ways. Cambridge Analytica, just to show one example. But there's no reason why, as humans, we shouldn't be able to lead by applying everything that we know about humanity, about psychology, about culture, about values, about behaviours, to make a stunning success of the 4IR, the augmented human in an innovation-enabled but utterly people-centric organisation.